What is going on, everybody, and welcome back once again to another episode of the Road to Nowhere podcast. I am Extreme from Extreme FTW Gaming. This is Jimmy G from the Jimmy G Experience on Facebook and here on Twitch. We thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to be bitching a lot this episode about my new job and how much I fucking hate it. No, I'm kidding. I do enjoy my new job, and I will say this, it has been a very painful reality check for me the last few weeks. And when I say painful, I mean legit painful to the point where I have tried everything to alleviate some of this pain. We didn't do an episode last week because unfortunately I had to work. I couldn't get out of it, which that's something I want to bitch about. We'll talk about that today. We are going to touch on the last couple episodes of what is it, House of Dragons, because I have actually watched it. I've been forced to. In fact, the last episode of this show that we did, as soon as I was done streaming that day, I went out and sat on the couch, and my girlfriend's like, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna watch this now." And I'm all, well, fuck me. Now I'm gonna have to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, especially since this is the guy who said, "I hate that show. I don't plan on watching that show."
I didn't plan on it. I told her flat out. I am not gonna watch this. But baby, and she does it in that voice too. So it's like,
I don't have a choice.
yeah, I don't have a choice. So I will admit, I kind of enjoy it, but I think it's because I already know a lot of what's going on in the end game story of it. We all know how this ultimately is going to turn out,
Right.
sort of. But it's like, I don't know. I'm giving it a chance, but I can't say I'm like thoroughly enjoying it because it's just I don't know. There's too much like you kind of it's like wrestling is for me. I can expect certain stuff, but we'll talk more about that later. It's been a hell of a few weeks. Like we haven't had an episode because like I said, I had to work last week. And so I want to start there just because there's so much I want to bitch about.
All right. Well, can I intervene real quick? For starting there, you made the comment that last time you were at work, you did your orientation. It was all of a day, right? And then
like 2 hours.
Okay. And then they stuck you on a register, and you were
That was
phenomenal
the next
at it.
day. Yeah.
Right. But you were phenomenal at it, and they wanted to keep you. So
yeah,
what happened? Did you make it back to the filling like you were supposed to do?
I am 100% in fulfillment. I am 100% in fulfillment.
Okay, so
that has not changed.
Have you done any more cashiering past that week?
Fuck no. And they have tried. They have tried repeatedly to get me to go back. They are in desperate need of cashiers. The thing is, I actually will admit I did enjoy cashiering. The part about cashiering that sucked was the whole standing still in one spot and dealing with some of the people that would come through. That side of the issue aside, like set that aside, I actually did enjoy it. And when my seasonal employment is up, which is about mid to late January, I have the option of either going on to one of two different statuses with the company. I can either become an on-demand employee, which means I have to pick up shifts when and where I want, or I can become a full-time, I can become a regular employee. I'm definitely not going to become a regular employee. I already told Kim this. There's no fucking way.
Can I ask why?
That's one of the things I'm going to bitch about. So, so we'll get back to that here in a bit, but I'm probably leaning toward on demand. And one of the reasons why I'm leaning toward on demand is I can pick up shifts in the areas I'm trained. So I could stay in fulfillment and I could also work cashiering. I've already told HR that's my intention. Like I've already told them that my intention is to go to on demand when my seasonal employment is up. And they were like, "Okay, are you sure that's what you want to do?" Because, and I'm like, "Yes." And I explained why. And I told them, I was like, "Here's the thing. On top of working here, I stream. And unfortunately, with the way my schedule is right now and is looking for the foreseeable future, you guys have me coming in 5 days a week, even if it's only for 4 hours. Case in point, I work this Sunday for 4 fucking hours. And then next week I work for what is it? On top of the Sunday, I'm working 4 7.5 hour shifts.
And this
And I'm
place
like,
is not 30 minutes of walking distance or closer to your house, right?
no, it's not.
Yeah, so
It's
it's not feasible to go in for 4 hours just to turn around and go home. Like
well,
financially,
I have
with gas prices and
financially,
stuff, it sucks.
thankfully, it's actually gas prices are like under $4 here.
It's
Just
it's
pointing out.
still expensive.
Yes, it is. It's still expensive, but it's not like holy shit expensive like it is elsewhere in the country.
Yeah,
But
like here,
regardless, it's like
fucking $5.25.
yeah. Eric told me that the other day, and I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, so I've got this weird ass schedule, and I can't make heads or tails of it. I mean, I understand why I have the hours I have, and so on and so forth, and I understand why they're scheduling me the way they can. So, from what I've learned from some of my coworkers, and this is the thing I wanted to bitch about, the store I work at, because we are so heavily understaffed, which is sadly very true and very noticeable. Because we're so heavily understaffed in every department, including my own, they are literally taking anybody who fills out an application, and they're offering a shit ton of money to anybody that will come in. My department has a decent number of employees, but we get pulled when we're dead. It's part of our job anyways, as I'm learning. We get pulled to go move stock to the floor. Problem is, if you go to any other Target, like in like major cities, you're not moving freight during the day. You're not stocking shelves during the day unless you're doing like a U-boat, one of those trolley carts, whatever. And that's it. You're not moving this much product to the floor during the day. So our night crew is very underleveled. Like we don't have a full night crew. And then we just don't have the people in each department so that people get like a decent number of days off in a row where they can rest and recharge, which is part of the problem is that they're bringing in people and then making a lot of promises that they're not fulfilling 100%. Saying, case in point, they told me, oh yeah, you'll never work more than, this many hours a week. And I go, okay, that's cool, but how many days a week am I going to work? Oh, you'll probably never work more than what you want to work. And I'm like, okay, that's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, and it usually is when it comes to seasonal employees. Because
everybody. It's
I realize
everybody's
that.
Right now getting fucked.
No, I realize that. I'm just saying, like when it comes to seasonal employees, and this happens here too, is you get told seasonal employees work 32 hours a week, 4 days a week, 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, depending. And whenever your work runs out, we send you home. And then every single time without fail, they're working 8 to 12-hour days, 5 days a week, and getting shafted in their overtime because they're seasonal. And the employer looks at it and goes, so what? They're going to be gone in 3 months. Who cares? Fuck them.
Yeah, my employment is actually for 6 months. So they have me till, like I said, mid to end January, somewhere around there. I know it's before my employment with Target runs out before Lightfall drops. And I've already told Kim, I'm taking the first 2 weeks that's off. When that comes out, I'm not working. And she's like, babe. And I go, remember, rephrase this. I'm switching to on demand and I'm only working the minimum required hours. And that's going to be before the thing drops. And then like after a full week has passed, plus I'll work a day, stay off for the release of the raid, and then I'll probably work a day after that. But then I will take my normal amount of whatever I need after that to make ends meet. And I told her this, and she's like, I don't like that plan. I go, it's in February. She's like, oh, never mind. Because she thought it was like October or something. And she's like, no. And I had to explain to her that that's a while off. And she's like, oh, we'll be fine by then. I'm like, yeah, you just got a shit ton of raises basically from all of your jobs. So, that's another thing, real quick, as a piece of good news. I think I mentioned this during the last podcast. Kim was going for a position at a different school. So over the summer, she had done that. She didn't get the job. And then as school started, another position came up that she wanted. And she applied for it, interviewed for it, and was told within 24 hours she didn't get it. She was really bummed about it. Well, last week she found out she got the job. So she's very happy. And while it doesn't come with an actual pay raise, she has like more hours that she's working, but she's also not on her feet as much. So her quality of life is going to improve. She's going to have more energy and drive to do certain things, which I'm thrilled for. But most importantly, she's going to make more money, but we won't feel the full benefit of that until probably beginning of November. So right now it's like, you know, but she's excited. She's happy about that. But the whole schedule thing, it's like, I brought it up with, some of my coworkers, and they came back and told me that, yeah, that's what they're doing to everybody right now. They're making false promises and, whatever.
Why I left my
being
previous
misleading.
employer.
Yeah, they're making misleading, promises, but it's not entirely misleading. Some people are just having really bad experiences with it because they signed up to and they thought they were only going to work a couple hours and they're working 40. And I'm like, well, is that what you put down? Like you put down you wanted 40 hours a week? Yeah, but and I'm like, then
That's on you.
Yeah. But and then another employee was like, no, I only wanted 24 and they're working me 24, but they're doing it over 4 or 5 days a week. And I'm like, yeah, I'll have to have a very serious conversation because all the employees that I talk to are all under the age of like 25. So that's number one. They're younger. I don't know why they're bitching. I mean, I'm 40 years old. I'm 480 fucking pounds. I feel it. I'm in pain every day. And there's a lot of my other coworkers who are just as bad as I am, but they're getting like 3-4 days off a week, justifiably. But it just depends on the department you're in too. So our department's very understaffed. We only have like 8 people. We're supposed to have like 16. Apparently, we just hired a new guy who will be in our department this coming week, and I get to work with him. So that'll be fun.
A big
But
part
the other
of,
thing, go ahead.
so a big part of companies being understaffed too all reflects on government and with the whole COVID and everybody getting paid on
Well,
unemployment and shit.
it's
And
not. It's not.
nobody
It's not
wants to
that.
work.
It's actually not that. It's actually
Well,
there's a lot more jobs that you can do from home, and so a
yeah,
lot more people are working from
but
home now.
why can you do those jobs from home? Because of COVID. So there's a lot of things that are um they're they're in effect because of society now. And there's a lot of people who don't want to work because they're not going to get paid the same amount of money as they just got used to being paid for a year while they were on unemployment. So when people go in to apply for work, and this is here, okay? When people
Yeah.
go in to apply for work, they're like, "Well, what's the paycheck?" Well, starting pay is $16.50 an hour. Starting pay is $16 an hour. Starting pay is $17 an hour. Well, when you're on unemployment, your pay is roughly 18 or 19, sometimes even $20 an hour. And that's leaving a $12.50 an hour job to go on unemployment. So it's like these people are now adjusted to the higher wages they were getting and don't want to actually work for what minimum wage and actual employment should be paying now.
Yeah.
And that's what makes life so freaking hard to get staff.
And it's
It's
also
not just happening where you are, it's happening everywhere.
I know it's happening everywhere. But the other thing is, if you look around, even at my work, most of the people that they're hiring right now are not in the mid to young 20, 18 years of age. Most of the people that they're hiring that are staying are the people that are in our age that are like 35 and up.
That's because people who are our age are starting to realize you can't live life without going and living life.
Well, it's not just that. It's that
We
a lot
weren't
of the
catered to.
jobs, yeah, we weren't catered to. And number one, number two, a lot of the jobs that were out there for us, for people our age, that you know we went to college for or fucking studied for or whatever. Those jobs are now going to younger idiots who are willing to do the job for less and do it from home. And it's like, okay, well, fuck that. I'm gonna go find a job that pays me more. I won't say how much I'm getting paid, but I'll tell you this much: it's almost double what I was getting at the last time I worked, and I felt it with my first check. I mean, I only worked a small amount of hours. This coming check, I've got the holiday pay for Monday, and then I've got a full 32 on both weeks that I'm working. That check's going to be monstrous, and I've never made that much money in my life on one paycheck. So I'm thrilled for this paycheck. Sadly, it's already gone. I haven't even fucking got it in my hand. This is the part about the situation I hate. I'm looking forward to November way
That's
more
called
now than I was.
adulting, bro.
I know it's called adulting, but it's also because the situation it didn't work in our favor 100%. Things didn't work out timing wise, so that we didn't. Basically, long and short of it is, I'm trying to be as cryptic as I can because there's issues going on that I'm not comfortable about talking about publicly.
Yeah.
I
No,
will
you're
say
good.
privately, but regardless, we're gonna weather the storm. Everything will be fine. We'll come through it, no problem. But it's still a pain in the ass, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fucks. So, regardless of that, but yeah, most of my coworkers are in their 30s, 40s. I have a few who are in their late 20s, but we don't have like the same like you would expect to see a lot of 18, 19, 20-year olds. I don't see that many. You would expect to see that because basically my job is an entry level job, and wow, my stream is completely donked out. I just realized that. Let me close this down and hopefully that'll help fix it a little bit. I don't know. It just went super stupid. Yeah, my stream is all fucked up. What is going on? Sorry, I just realized the stream has just gone completely sideways. Oh yeah, that might be.
But yeah,
So before this, you talk. I'm gonna deal with this real quick.
So that's just some, like I said, some of the things that I've noticed. So at my employment currently, um, we count money all day. Well, for our shift, we take the previous day's money, count it up, give it over. And there any given time there's 6 to 9 people that work in as one team. And when I got hired, my understanding is they were used to having, say, anywhere between 8 to 11 people. So we're short staffed. But then you hear some of these interviews that happen with the people who are coming in. Some of them are our age, some of them are younger. But the last question that they ask in any interview, including mine, is how come you applied? And some of the responses you hear for some people, and this is just asking Joe Blow on the street. Here, some of the responses you hear from some people. Well, why do you look for a job now? Oh, my mom made me. Okay. Like, that means you don't want to work. You don't want to have the means come. That's your mom's tired of paying your rent. Number 2, why'd you apply for the job? Oh, my unemployment ran out. Well, how long were you on unemployment? 1.5 years. So you don't want to work either. You literally mooched off government funds until you couldn't anymore. Like in where I work, you got to work and you got to work hard and you got to pick up slack whenever something malfunctions or breaks down or whatever. You're not going to find that in somebody who doesn't want to work. So you have society nowadays and all these people who were catered to that collected so much money just because they could. Like, I was making more money on unemployment than I was at my previous employer, and eventually I was like, dude, this is dumb. Like, this money's gonna run out. I need to make sure I have a job. My previous employer called me back. I went. There was a lot of false promises there because all they were trying to do is get people in the casino. Yes, I work at a casino. I worked at a casino before too. Um, but they were trying to get people to work there, and they used to have really good core values. They used to mean everything they said. They used to look out for their staff, and everything was nice. And after COVID, it was let's look out for us. Who cares about the employees? We just need to make sure we have butts coming to work and people to make the machine run well. And that's what it came down to. And it was not a pleasant experience. Now, where I'm at has very similar standings, and it's basically the same as it used to be over there, and it's accurate. You know, things are better, things are right, and it's the way that it should be. And to have people come in who are going to ruin it, it's frustrating. So we're hoping that that doesn't happen. We get some people who actually are willing to work, willing to put in the time, willing to put in the effort to make everything run smooth and go according to plan. But you have to find those people who are willing to get their hands dirty. You know, there's no coasting by in the game of life, and people don't get that because they were catered to for, you know, 2 years. All these places
Sorry,
that were
I
no, you're
so
good.
real quick. I had to kill the background because unfortunately my computer is just it it's not able to handle processing the background and everything else. I don't know what's going on, but hopefully this fixed the issue. It seems like it's leveled out. I don't know what happened. Like I've we've been doing the show for a couple months and OBS changed something and now it's just so I apologize to our viewers on my end. Um it looked horrible. Like the stream looked absolutely dog shit. And I do apologize for that. But yeah, getting back to what Jimmy was saying and what I'd started, it's this whole situation with people not wanting to go to work for one reason or another. It's frustrating for the people at work because it's more work for them. And don't get me wrong, I'll say this right now. In my department, yesterday was a prime example of also management just maybe not working like in the best idea of like, okay, do I really need 5 people to run and pick up orders at the beginning of the day? Or am I going to need 5 people closer to the end of the night? Or am I going to need, more balance? I'm not saying my team leader is bad about it. I don't know. From what I understand, she's a good leader and she's good at her job. She's been with Target for a long time. Um, I recently found out some stuff that I'll tell you, Jimmy, off stream. But it it's just frustrating, being there and scheduling things. Just I don't fully understand what's going on. Maybe it's because I come from a different era. The last time I worked, things were done differently, and just not just at Target, but in general. And it feels like somewhere, some way, something happened, and fucking yeah. But one of the things that I wanted to touch on, and I kind of mentioned it. Employers are bitching about not having employees, and employees are bitching about not having enough people to do the job, so they're having to be overworked. But here's the problem, and I see it at Target because it happened since I started. I think about 6 people that have been hired recently, like in the last few months, including now, have just up and quit. Just boop, fuck you, quit. They don't want to do the job. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to put in the effort. It's not what they thought it was going to be, and they feel like they're getting taken advantage of, blah, 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 blah. Look, here's the thing. It will get better as more people get hired and more people go back to work. You will feel it. You will notice it. Things will get balanced. Things will get better. But if you're working in retail be prepared to have some really long, stressful days. It's just, that's what's expected. If you can't fucking handle it, find something that you can handle, but don't fucking apply and then quit after 2 fucking weeks because you got your check. You think you can go back on unemployment. It's not how it works. You technically have to get fired for a justifiable reason before you can go on unemployment. I don't know how it is. Like in California, I know that's how
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same.
The thing is, you have to work for 90 fucking days before you can do that, dumbasses. It doesn't, that I know is universal. You have to have been employed for 90 days. And the company, during those 90 days, they can fire you for any reason, but it still has to be a justified reason, because if they don't have one, just turn around and fucking sue them. So go to work, do your fucking job, put in the time, collect your 90 days, then go back on unemployment. But at least give fucking the company time to fucking staff up so they're not fucked to the point where, like I said, you've got people working double shifts and not getting compensated appropriately for it. I had a coworker yesterday who got asked to work late to help with the truck at where I work. And I sat there and I was like, I have a funny feeling they're going to ask me to work the truck on not this Saturday, but next Saturday. I've already told everybody there, if you try to get me to work the truck, I will walk out. I won't quit, but I will walk out of my shift. And they were like, leads were like, would you really do that? And I said, yes. Well, you could be fired for that. I said, yes, but I've also told you I physically can't do it. Just like I've told them, I physically can't go up the ladders to grab orders. And this is the fun part. My boss flat out said, if you don't feel safe, you can skip the item, And I've had it happen where I was like, all right, I don't know if I can get this for the person. I feel bad about it. I do. It's not like I'm like, fuck them. I don't give a shit. I actually feel bad anytime I have to tell, the machine, like, I can't find this item, because I've been on the receiving end of that. So I know what that feels like. But when you've got something so fucking high up there, and mind you, I'm afraid of heights to begin with, I'd still climb up there if the ladder could hold my weight. It has a max weight capacity of 300 pounds. My ass yesterday. Oh, this was fun. Going up the ladder. Fucker's buckling. I can feel it bending. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I get the item. I come back down, and then I fall and I trip on the last step, and I bash my shin on the final step. Didn't tell my bosses about it. Kept working. Fucking jaw hurt for like 2 hours. Had a little bit of blood because my teeth smashed into each other. And of course I hit a fucking ladder, but I kept working. End of my shift, one of my leads comes up to me and goes, "Hey, are you okay? Security was reviewing something from earlier this morning. And we saw that you tripped on the ladder. Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." "Are you sure you don't want to file a report?" "No, I didn't get hurt. I mean, I did, but nothing serious. I'm fine. There's nothing to report. It was my own dumb fault. I slipped." He goes, "Okay. Well, we checked the ladder, by the way, just to see, because it looked like something happened with the ladder. And the ladder bowed. And we now have to replace the ladder." And I'm like, "Told you guys I shouldn't be climbing these fucking ladders." And I just walked away, and he laughed. You're like completely frozen, or you're just standing still.
I'm just sitting here. Just sitting here. You're good.
Like, it's like, that's what I see. It's just like, and nothing else. But yeah, it was the weirdest thing in the world yesterday with that. But I know my leads at my work, they care about us as employees. They've told me numerous times, if you need to sit down and take a quick break, here's what you do. Go to the bathroom, close the door, sit down, just relax, take a couple minutes, get off your feet, and then get back to it. They want me to stay. They like that I'm pushing through, even though they know I'm in agony. They can see it on my face. They can see it in the way I'm walking. And they're just like, do what you got to do to get through the day. You know, you're not complaining about it. Well, I mean, I am, but I'm not bitching to the point where it's like, this is bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. It's more like my fucking feet hurt. My feet hurt. My fucking feet hurt. You know, it's like, but I'm moving forward as I'm doing it. Like I'm still doing my job. You know, I'm not complaining about the job. I love my job. I actually enjoy my job. I wish my feet wouldn't hurt so much. They're getting better, but that's the only part of the job I hate is that I'm in just so much pain. If the pain wasn't there, fuck, dude, I'd be moving a lot faster. I'd be having more fun because I'd be getting stuff done. I'd be able to complete more orders 100% because I'm just not like struggling. That pain is what's holding me back. If I can get through that and pass that up, thrilled. That being said, blisters are a bitch. I hate them. I have them all over my feet now, but it's
tie your shoes
worthy
tighter,
sacrifice.
bro. Tie your shoes tighter.
I
I'm
actually,
kidding. I'm
so
kidding.
here's the thing. I actually got new shoes, and although, so apparently I've worn a size 14 most of my life since I've been an adult. I got a size 14 extra wide. I didn't realize how wide that shoe was, but it feels so good. It's so comfortable for the most part. The problem I've learned that I've been having is that because of my weight, my arch in my foot will do this number. Like beginning of the day, it's like nice and arched like it's supposed to be. As I'm walking, that arch starts to do this. Well, that's what's causing a lot of my pain. So I bought a pair of socks.
Fasciitis.
Yeah. So I bought a pair of socks that are supposed to help keep that arch in place as best as possible. They're compression socks. They worked really well when the socks aren't shifting. And so I wore them yesterday, got off work, and yeah, I still had pain in my feet, but nothing compared to even the day before. So
have you tried wearing compression socks with another pair of either regular socks or like I think it's Hanes.
Well, the blisters.
I think I have no, not with the blisters, with the plantar fasciitis and the arches. So I believe it's Hanes style socks is what I bought, but around the arch of the foot, there's like an elasticity to it, like it's like almost like the top of your calf type of elasticity, but it's so thin that it fits like a regular sock, and it goes around the arch of your foot. So if you wear that style sock that squeezes the sides and the arch of your foot at the same time as the compression, it should help just that extra little bit with the compression sock, because you have the compression sock on first, and then you put that other one on the top of that of the compression sock, which should then reinforce the stability of your arch.
So just to cut to it, no, I haven't done that because wearing two socks would be absolute murder.
Well, the compression socks aren't they thin?
No, dude, I can't wear two socks. I've never been able to do that. Like physically, I can't do it. It's too.
What about a brace, which is like ultra thin, does the same thing?
I've looked into getting a foot and ankle brace, but the one I looked at was primarily for supporting the ankle. I don't have problems with my ankle. But we don't carry anything that I can afford, and there's nothing in town that I can get like in a day's notice that's going to help support the arch like I need it to. So I'm just thinking like, you know what? There's 3 ways I can fix this problem. Number 1, just push through it. As I lose weight, the problem will become less and less of a problem.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. Number 2, just push through it as the muscles in my feet that have deteriorated over the last 14 years regrow. It's going to take a while. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. But my employer and all my leads they're very understanding of the situation, and they're giving me the time to get past this to where I can really show them what I can do and how well I can do the job. As of right now, they're happy with my performance, given the fact that I'm in so much pain that it's just constant. After the first hour, maybe 2 of my shift, I'm done. Like I need to sit down and sit for like 20 to 30 minutes before I can get back and go again. But they can't give me a 30-minute break every 2 hours. That's not realistic. They
Right.
don't, you know, I
Here's
understand
another
that.
question for you. After your shift is over, you're now home, you're relaxing. Have you tried icing the muscle in your arch of your foot?
Yes, it is. So again, this is something dealing with Kim. She has a degree in physical therapy. And so my first couple days coming home, I would ice my feet. It hurt so much, it made it worse to the point where the next day it was even worse. So I stopped doing that. And what I would do now is I would go and, against her recommendations, I would take a shower, and we have a removable shower head. So with the hot water, it would burn my foot and it would hurt like hell for a moment, but it would relax the muscle and open it up. And by the morning, my foot felt fine. And I could actually last a little longer first couple hours of my shift. The other thing is I haven't had more than 2 days off since I started. So I haven't had a full period of time to let the muscles heal and strengthen like that you're supposed to. Anytime this goes with working out, you're supposed to take 2 to 3 days off after working out so many days in a row. Well, I haven't had that. This week, today, tomorrow, and Friday are the first 3 full days I'll have off to let my feet fully heal before I go back to work on Saturday. So hopefully, when I go into work on Saturday, I'll be able to work for 5, 6 hours before the pain is like, "Ugh." And that's what I'm hoping for. Realistically, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've tried a bunch of different things. The number, the 2 things that have worked the most as of now are the new shoes and socks. And when I get home, taking a shower and just putting heat to it. Yes, it hurts, but the pain is gone much faster than ice.
What
Like ice
about
just,
what
oh
about
God,
TENS
no.
unit? Have you
I don't know what that
considered?
is.
It's like electric shock therapy.
Yeah,
It's like
I've
it's
had
like a
coworkers.
massage. It's
I
like a
actually realized what
massage.
you were
It's
saying. A
it's
coworker
it's nice.
mentioned it
I
and
do that on
suggested
my
it.
back because my back is jacked. I
So
do that
here's the
on my
thing.
back, and it actually helps my back a lot. Ice doesn't,
So
heat doesn't, but the TENS unit does. I know every
if
healing technique is different for every person, which is just why I
yeah,
ask.
that's the thing that pisses me off about. I love Kim to death. She's of this mentality that this is the only way it's going to get better. That's not going to work for you. You need to do this. And so I'm like, all right, fine. Just to shut you up, I'll do this because I get mad with how aggressive she gets with this, that I'll just do it to shut her up. And when I'm in more pain, I tell her about it and she's like, "Why are you in more pain? You shouldn't be in pain." I'm like, "Because my
Everybody's different.
physiology is different.
Yeah,
Like I'm
everybody's different.
completely different than everyone else. The things I've done in the past that have helped me with pain, they work. And there's an old saying, don't break what's working. You
Yeah,
know,
if it ain't
don't
broke, don't fix it.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know what works for me to manage pain because, you know, doing the wrestling and just being overweight most of my life, all the injuries I've sustained, shit like that. This is what I do to fix the problem. If this doesn't work and it doesn't make the pain go away, I'm open to trying something else. But let me do what I know because I know that's going to work. And if it doesn't work, then I'll try something new.
Right.
I tell her this and she's like, "No, you have to do this." Fine, I'll
Yeah.
fucking do it. I fucking do it. And I'm like, it's fucking worse. Well, doesn't it feel better though? No, it doesn't feel better. It
No.
fucking feels worse.
Yeah,
And
I
so
get you.
that happened with the ice. So with the ice, one foot felt fine because it was like the second day I came home from work, from working cashiering. I think I talked about this the last time we did the podcast. We did an ice bath and it helped with one of my feet. The other one, it made it 100 times worse. I couldn't put any weight on that foot for an hour and a half after I got my foot out of the ice bath. Um, but taking a shower, like I can come out of the shower perfectly fine. Yes, there's still some sting, but it's manageable. It's more tolerable. Like that's the other thing. By the end of my shift yesterday, the pain in my feet was more tolerable. Like, yes, it was still there, but I could have, gone for another 2 hours at work with how it felt.
Yeah.
That's through the aid of Advil and fucking, getting my socks adjusted and everything else. But yeah, it was a painful, it's been very painful. But other than that and the scheduling issues, I don't really have any complaints about the job. I love my job. I'm having fun. It
Cool.
does piss me off that I'm not able to stream as much. But it's, again, as I said earlier, it's just because we don't have the people so that I can work an 8-hour shift 4 days a week and then have 3 days off to stream.
Yeah.
That is why I'm going to the on demand. Like, I want to stay with the company if they'll have me. But I definitely want to be in control of what days I work, what shifts I work, so on and so forth. And I want to stay in the mornings too. I don't want to I don't want to do evening shifts very often. They're working me one evening shift. Everything I've done so far has been in the morning. And as much as I hate mornings, God, I fucking hate mornings. I am willing to do it because it's convenient. I come home after work. I get to hang out with Kim for a little bit. We both go to bed. We get up. We go to work. It does suck on Saturdays when I've got to go in at fucking 7 a.m. like I do this Saturday. And it's her only day off, really. And she's got to get up to take me. That sucks. She keeps pushing the whole, get your license. And I'm like, you really don't listen when I explain this. The other night, she started doing that again. And I just kind of snapped and I'm like, I'm not going to get my license for 90 days. So by the time my employment is up, I will not have my license. By the time the snow gets here, I will not have my license. So you need to chill with this. It's going to happen. I'm going to get it, but stop pushing because there are things I have to do before I can get it. I have to get new glasses because when they do the administer the vision test, they're going to take one look at my glasses. I'm going to do the test and they're going to go, yeah, no, you failed. Now you have a 30-day hold before you can reapply for your license. That's it. That's the process. So why not just cut that whole issue out? I can go for my permit. I could get that while I'm dealing with the permit, which takes 90 days. I get my glasses. Cool. I get my glasses. Now I get adjusted to the glasses. I go do the driving test. I do the written, then the physical test. Then I do the eye exam. I pass all that. I get my license. I can drive. Yay. But the whole process still takes a full 90 fucking days.
So it's different there than it is here then, because you can get your permit and your license, whatever, all in one if you're over 18.
Yeah,
like if I didn't have a license today.
Here's the thing. I don't know if that policy changed because when I tried for my license a couple years ago, even though I was over the age of 18 at the time, I was like 25, 24. I still had to fucking wait 90 days to go for my license because it was the first time I was getting it. It was the very first time. So that's why.
That's weird. I mean, it could be real. I don't know. Like when I was 18, I went to get my license and I took my permit, like the written test part. I just had to take both sides. And then
had you had a driver's permit before that?
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, when I turned 18, I was going through a driving course through Sears, and I went in, took my test, and then got my completion of my course, and took my behind the wheel damn near all within a week, and got my license like right away. But whatever. I mean, it's all good. I'm glad that you enjoy your job and everything. Let's move on to Game of Thrones.
Okay, we'll talk about it briefly because that's really like. Here's what I know about the game. Here's what I know about the show. Stuff's happening.
Wow.
That I'm being honest, dude. Like I'm paying attention.
You just said that you wanted to talk about it because your girl has been making you watch it.
She's been making me watch it. And my thing is,
how many episodes have you seen?
I have seen 2.5.
2.5.
We didn't get through the third one yet.
All right. That makes it a little more complicated. The best part that I've seen and the worst part all at the same time is this show is a slow builder. Like it moves so slow. But the dragons are sick. Like I don't like the red dragon, the the King's Brothers dragon. I think it looks weird, but the other dragons I've seen look quite amazing. I enjoy the crap out of it. I like that there's an introduction into like a farm of eggs, so you get to see the vast variety of what kind of dragons are to come. Probably, I'm very curious to know what the King's dragon looks like.
Well, I know that very soon, I think in the next episode, the king is dead. I think. Because that makes sense for the timeline of everything. And I don't know. I'm guessing on that. But I mean, you have to know he's dying. I mean, you've known for a while he's got issues health-wise. He's in the episode that I saw. So going back, let's start from the beginning. Like I said, I do pay attention. I just not really enjoying it. In the first episode, they set the groundwork of who's who, and so on and so forth. So you have, I don't know the name of the actors or the characters very well. The Hand, he's very much trying to manipulate the king into doing what he wants.
Oh yeah,
and that's very clear. I mean, it's clear as fucking day. That's what's going on. He's trying to move the chess pieces so that he ends up somehow being king. That just seems like what's going on. You could see that by the little bit of the third episode that I watched, because his grandson, the king's son, would be essentially would be the king if he married his half sister, which is basically what he was proposing the king do, which I thought was fucking insane. And that just shows you the mindset of these characters and this era of the world where that shit was considered acceptable back then. And that's based in reality, by the way. That's not actually just a fantasy kind of thing thrown in there. That actually kind of happened a lot, especially in royalty. Yeah. So the whole situation is very what the fuck in that regard. But in the like I said, in the first episode, they established this character, so on and so forth, and they established that, you know, the Game of Thrones is once again going to be a thing, sort of. It very much let you kind of peer into the world, and I will admit, in the first episode, I was interested. I was kind of getting hooked. Second episode comes, and I'm like, okay, things are getting a little spicy. And then we get into the third episode, and again, I've only watched half of it, and I'm like, yeah, this is going exactly as I anticipated at this point.
So you get to the second half, which you haven't had a chance to see yet, and you're going to be like, okay. Like,
yeah,
what?
things are about to, I expect things to take a weird left turn, but in a good way. But at the same time, it's like, this is going back to what I said earlier. And as much as I love wrestling has become, when you watch it as much as I have over the years, it gets a little predictable, you know, and when you've done it, it gets even more predictable, which kind of sucks, because I like the surprises, you know, and I still enjoy the matches and the storytelling, but you know what's coming. You know, this is going to happen eventually. This is going to happen, because that's just the way it is. Watching Game of Thrones, I see what's coming, and it's kind of spoiling it for me a little bit, because I want that twist that's going to catch me off guard, and I haven't gotten that yet. That's why I enjoyed the very first season of Game of Thrones when it first came out, because when you thought you knew it was coming, nope, fuck you. There was a left turn or a right turn that came out of nowhere, and you were just completely caught off guard. And that's what hooked me in. But then it became predictable, and I lose interest in stuff like that, except for wrestling. I don't know why. It's the only thing I can still put up with that does that. But I am enjoying the show. I will admit that I am enjoying it. I'm still very confused about the jumps in timeline, although I think I kind of have an idea. So from the first episode to the second episode, it was a 6-month gap. And then from the second episode to the third episode, it's a 3-year gap. So each episode is jumping 6 times from where the last episode was. So like we had a 6-month gap. Now we've got a 36-month gap, which is 6 times 6 is what? 36. There you go. Bam. So I'm guessing the next episode is going to be what's 6 times 3 years? That'd be what? 18 years? Which makes perfect sense because they've already kind of told you that there's going to be an older version of the princess in the show at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's what's coming next. And then apparently from there, it's supposed to kind of stay in that time for the rest of the season, I guess. I don't know. But
yeah, I didn't quite understand the jump that they did from episode 1 to 2. I didn't really appreciate it. It is what it is. And then the 2 to 3 gap was entertaining as well, but I don't think it was as far, just based on the fight sequence, or maybe it was 1 to 2 didn't seem like a big gap, but 2 to 3 was. Anyway,
yeah, 2 to 3 was a 3-year gap, so that was
yeah.
a much larger gap.
But the thing I looked forward to was in 2 at the end when the crab feeder was feeding his people, or the soldiers,
That shit
the
was
crabs.
nasty.
Yeah. So the end of 3 gets more into that battle. So that is something I was looking forward to. And with the 4th episode coming up, oh my god, dude. Like, the trailer at the end of 3 looks like it's going to be amazing. Like,
so you mentioned
I
the
don't know.
battle. You mentioned the battle, and I remember watching the first part of the episode for episode 3, and I'm sitting there with Kim, and you see the guy, the crab guy, whatever his name is. He's nailing one of the king's guys to the thing, the stake, whatever, and the crab's coming up, and the dragon's killing all the bad guys, and he yells, "Save me, my prince!" And then the fucking dragon just smushes him. Kim's like, "I'm saving you now."
No, and see, Jill looked at me and she goes, "Well, I mean, he saved you from a long life of agony, but I mean, that's a type of saving."
I thought that was hilarious how she's like, "You're dead now." Kind of, it's like, yeah, that sums up like the character. I can't remember the name of the character of the prince, but he resonates with me for some reason, and I wish he was in the show more. I will say this:
I have a
I think
feeling
that's
he will be.
Oh yeah, I guarantee he will be. But for the 3rd episode, the half that I saw, I was kind of disappointed in how little we had the prince, and the fact that I get they're really focusing on the king because clearly he's close to something happening. Like something's going to happen with him. Again, so I haven't seen the second half of the 3rd episode, so I don't know what happens. But I do have a question. Spoil this for me. Did the princess kill the special animal that they were looking for? Was that the boar?
No, it wasn't a boar. It was a white stag. So
Oh,
the thing the king was hunting for was a
you
stag.
keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I got a call. I got to take right now.
The beast that the king was hunting was a stag. It was essentially a deer that was white, and the one that they tracked down was a regular deer that was big, not white. So yeah, no, she didn't. She did not, in fact, kill that, but she did return covered in blood, which was amazing. But now that he's taken his headphones off, I'm I don't necessarily want to talk more into it, but yeah. So I know I'm looking forward to it, and all those people out there who are watching. Same thing with the Lord of the Rings series that's coming out. I saw the first episode of that. That's intriguing as well. That started off slow, and they introduced a lot of the characters from the elf side of the movies. You get to see what they look like when they were in their younger days, in their prime days. And I thought characters were other characters, where in fact, as soon as I heard the names, I was like, oh, okay, okay. And to watch it, I'm very very interested to know that story as well. Even though I know the ending, as Extreme was saying, we know how the Game of Thrones ultimately ends up, and we know how Lord of the Rings ultimately ends up. But there's a lot to cover on the in betweens that a lot of people don't care about, but people like me find intriguing, and I'm interested. I look forward to that kind of storytelling, and I enjoy it. Um, and it goes more into different shows like that. Like, I'm a sci-fi person. I enjoy knowing as much history as I can know. For whatever reason, the Star Wars stuff, I enjoy seeing all the little ins and out movies and the odd ones that they've come up with. Marvel, same thing. But I've never been the heavy in it people. So it's I take them for what they are, not for the story of what it should be when it comes to what's previously been written. So with the House of Dragons, I'm treating it as a whole new thing. The Lord of the Rings one, I'm also treating it as a whole new story, because yes, it will coexist and it will intertwine, but I don't know how. So I want to know how, and I think that that's going to be interesting. There's lots of shows out there that do this kind of thing. They all intertwine with each other when they do prequels and sequels and stuff, and it's nice to catch those missing pieces, just so you can have a whole story instead of part of one. The trick is then when you go back to watch them, so you can understand it all as one, is where to start. So that's kind of how I view that. Side note, while Extremes stepped away and I have something else to talk about, this weekend, if you are in California, in San Diego County area, there is a charity event going on for the Loving You Through It Foundation. That's where this organization, it's like a beauty salon kind of place. They reach out to female cancer patients, survivors that have gone through chemo and are now trying to adapt and getting their lives back together. They teach them how to represent themselves as women and get their finesse back. They get their confidence back by teaching them again how to do makeup more appropriately and better to now suit their features of their physical selves. If they lost hair because of chemo, they supply them with wigs. It really is a whole confidence booster. Feel free to come on out, stop by. You can look at my Facebook page for the flyer. Probably motorcyclemonkey.com will have our flyer there. But it's going to be at Paradise Lounge off of, I want to say it's Rosecrans in downtown San Diego is the starting point. We're going to be there, leaving there rather, at around 11:30. So if you want to show up there, we're doing a $20 single, $30 couple fundraiser, where the money is going to go back and help them support women cancer survivors. So we're trying to put the word out. We're also going to be doing a raffle at the end spot, which you'll get at Paradise Lounge, of a 58-inch TV. It's a 4K TV, and the tickets are going to be sold for $10 a piece, and there's no maximum you could buy, but I know it's like a $350 TV, and we're just, like I said, we're just hoping to raise money to help the cancer survivors out there that are trying to get their confidence back. There's going to be donation cards and stuff like that, and I mean, I'll be there collecting funds and making sure that the money gets to where it's supposed to go. But yeah, if you're in San Diego and you have interest in going out and showing some love and support, please feel free to stop by. I really wish Extreme was back, because now I've run out of stuff to say. What else is on my mind? Let me think. I know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I do know. So, what week is this? This is the 7th. So in 2 weeks, I will not be in town. I'll actually be out of the country. I'm leaving on a vacation with my wife. And yeah, so the podcast will not be going on unless Extreme wants to do it from a phone. And I'll be cool with that, but chances are it won't be recorded and or aired on my stream. It might if I could figure that out, but no guarantee to that because I don't think I can run the stream and Discord to talk to Extreme at the same time. So be sure if you're in my chat, you tune in on his feed, Extreme FTW Gaming, I believe it is on Twitch. That way you get a chance to see it if we do it. I'll either be sitting on a beach for real, not this painting, or I'll be sitting in a pool. Again, not a picture. I'll be really in Mexico. If they have Wi-Fi, I'll make sure that I reach out to him and make it happen. And I'll come to you live on location, probably with beer in hand at 10 a.m. Yes, 10 a.m. It's a fine to drink because it's a vacation and it's allowed. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. But yeah, so Extreme's taking a phone call, seeing how it's taking a while. It's probably his girl. It could be work. And I got a phone call earlier, but I chose to ignore it because I'm on the show with you. I'll call them back. But yeah, so here we got the 40-minute conversation of Extreme and why he loves / hates his job. We had a 10 or 20-minute conversation of the House of Dragons. And we got right now where I'm trying to kill time by talking about absolutely nothing. I think this is a successful show to the road to nowhere. That we got a nice long drive. We've got here nowhere. Yeah. I wish I had a couple dad jokes I could tell you. I love dad jokes. Dad jokes are great. Well, now's the time, chat. If you were tuned in on the Jimmy G experience on Twitch, Jimmy G _EXP, or I think that's Jimmy G _EXP. Now's the time to tune in on Twitch and say what's up. Let me know your words and thoughts, man. That way we can keep this conversation, this chat going, at least for a little bit. Hey, look at that! Extreme is back. He's almost putting his headphones back on. Let's see. We'll count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey!
I am so fucking sorry.
What a perfect countdown. That was amazing.
Oh my god.
I couldn't have timed that better if I wanted to.
I will fill you in later. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take off again here in a minute. Because I gotta go make dinner early. We're putting in the crock pot. But yeah, so I won't say what that was about. I'll tell you off stream, Jimmy. But yeah. I love my girlfriend. I do.
Hey, so I called that one too. I said it was either his girl or his work.
I thought it was something important. It really wasn't.
All right.
I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
So I went ahead and I discussed further on the Game of Thrones stuff, the House of Dragon stuff. I'll tell you, I'll spoil that thing for you.
No, it wasn't the thing. Okay, cool. So that's what I was wondering. So yeah, because I thought I was like, that thing's a silver looking boar. Like, is that the thing in the thing he was looking for? And that's why I was like,
the boar was just a boar. It was a symbol that she was willing to come back covered in blood and not give two shits about what anybody thought of her.
Nice.
Ooh.
What?
Okay, so I just got a text from the fundraiser that I was just talking about.
Well, you talked about it off
I
stream.
need to read it.
We weren't actually on stream.
No. I just said it on stream.
Oh, you were talking about it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just trying to kill time.
I'm sorry, dude. So I will tell you this. I'll put this out there into the world. The reason she called is I can't really say specifically, but it wasn't a life or death situation, which is what I thought it was. I'm like, oh God, what happened? What happened to who? You know, is everything okay? Why are you calling me right now? Normally you text. And she's like, this is what's going on. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of a fucking podcast. Like, I'm streaming. This is one of the few days I get to do this. This is not a life or death situation. You do not need to call me for this. So I love her. I get her point of view on the situation, because basically what's going on is she has to make a decision career-wise that's very important. And she's calling me about it because she's conflicted. And I'm like, this isn't even the fucking, like, you don't even have to make a decision about this today, let alone tomorrow or in the next 2 fucking weeks. So why are we making this an issue right this second? Like, why now? But that's just, I love her to death. That's who she is. That's how she is. She kind of likes to, you know, she makes a big deal out of things when it's really not a big deal. She worries. She reminds me so much of my mom. It's uncomfortably scary. So I love her to death, but God damn it. Oh, now I know why my dad was gray.
Wow.
Well, me and my brothers attributed to that too. But yeah, my mom definitely helped with that. Oh Lord. Speaking of grays, I have noticed that I am getting more and more gray hairs since I turned 40, and I'm like, first off, what the fuck is that? Fucking gnats, dude. Oh my God. That's another thing I want to bitch about. I need to vent. Today's episode is all about venting. So after the last podcast, Danny, the guy who lives downstairs, he asked us, hey, my friend needs a place to live. Can she live downstairs with me? She'll pay you this much in rent, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Blowing smoke up Kim's ass. And Kim's like, sure, I'll help you out. I'll help your friend out, whatever. Then the friend's like, I have a dog. And I'm like, we have a fucking Akita. He's going to eat this dog alive. This dog is the
Just
Danny's
because you
has.
have a big dog doesn't mean he's gonna eat the little dog, bro.
Oh, that's the thing.
I got a
exactly
big dog
what I
and little dog.
anticipated. Well, here's the thing. So Cascade, our dog, he sees this little dog and he's like, I want to play with you, but I'll kill you. Like, you can see him. He's so conflicted. He's like, I want to play, but I'm going to hurt this little thing. At the same time, this little thing is walking around like he owns the place. And so it's pissing me off. Like just now, fucking Danny and the friend took off and they asked my brother to watch the dog. And I'm like, no fucking way. So I'm already pissed about that. But so she's come up here. Like we've told her previously, do not come upstairs, especially not in the fucking mornings. 3 times now. She's come upstairs in the morning. Yesterday she did it and caused me to be late for work because we were rushing out the door because we kind of like, we don't leave until like we leave like 6:45 because I don't have to be at work till 7. She comes upstairs at 6:40 and stands there and tries to chit chat with me and Kim. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, I go away. I need to fucking I need to put my fucking pants on because I'm sitting there in like the pants I'm wearing right now, trying to change into my jeans, and she won't fucking leave. So it's like, And yeah, so that whole situation has got me ready to fucking just implode on somebody. And I'm trying very hard not to take my frustration about that situation out on our Elliot or Kim. It's not their fault. It's neither one of their faults or what's going on with that. But yeah, I'm just like, now that I'm back at work and like being an adult again and all that stuff and having to get back in the world for the first time in 14 years, the guy I was when I left the world is very rapidly coming back, and he's a mean, spiteful bastard.
Unfortunately, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, yeah, the shit that I would put up with prior to this, yeah, I'm not putting up with it anymore. Case in point, hearing one of my coworkers she was like 45, 46 years old. She's sitting there bitching about how she can't work this many hours because of this reason and that reason and blah, 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 blah. And I looked at her and I'm like, I'm only a couple years younger than you. I'm in a shit ton of pain. And I'm not bitching about working. You know why? Because I need fucking money. I'm sorry I can't suck dick to make extra cash. So shut the fuck up and do your job. Heard that yesterday as I was leaving, and I'm like, quit your bitching. And then I found out apparently this morning because one of my coworkers texted me, yeah, she quit. She's only been there a few weeks and she quit because they're making her work more than 5 hours a day. They were making her work 6. And she only technically was working for 5.5.
I mean, sometimes the clock matters,
I mean, I do agree with that. I do. But it's like when you're bitching to customers or
yeah, that's not guests, okay.
Yeah, when she's bitching to guests, coworkers, leads, and doing it incessantly, all because she has to work officially an extra 30 fucking minutes. Why are you complaining about this? Like, technically, you can leave at any time once you fulfill the necessary requirements, which technically Target only requires you to be there for 3/4 of your shift. They really do. Like the company, the deep company policy says, as long as you complete 3/4 of your shift, you're free to go. Because that's all they ask of you is to show up for at least 3/4 of your shift. If you do show up, okay, that's not hard to fucking do. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of. Anywho, I don't think this has been a good cup episode. I feel like I fucked off on this one.
Yeah, you kind of did. You vented a lot, but hey, you set out to vent, and you were successful in venting.
The thing is,
I'll change the stream title to Vent Day.
No. But no, it's like I just needed to get a lot of that out of my system because it's been. I miss doing this. I miss streaming as often as I used to. And it was therapy for me. Coming out here and venting for 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. It's out of my system. I'm done. I feel better. I can move on with my day and freaking put on a good show. And I needed to get all of that out and just kind of blah. And I want to put it out there as well. I do that just so that it's out of my head. I'm not trying to put it in anyone else's. I'm just throwing stuff into the ether. If anybody's day has been turned negative because of me bitching, I am so fucking sorry. That was not my intention.
I had 2 viewers in my room, and then 37 minutes into your venting, they left.
I figured.
Whatever.
I promise it'll get better. It's gonna get better. We're gonna get back to having fun in next episode. I am going to be off next week on Wednesday. It is one of my 2 days off, and so I'm looking forward to next Wednesday. Because there are a couple things that are coming out this week that I'm looking forward to. We get Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be on Disney Plus. I'm watching that. I think that actually comes out tomorrow. I think, or was it Friday? All I know is I'm
I
watching
don't
it.
know.
I just know I'm watching it when it comes out. Me and Kim are gonna sit and watch it, and I'm excited to see it finally. I heard good things, I've heard bad things. I want to make my own opinion about it, and I'm gonna share it next week on the podcast. Um, I will say I'm enjoying She-Hulk. I know you're not interested in the series. I would recommend you check it out because
I
there have been some
probably am
interesting
going
cameos.
to.
There have been some interesting cameos. It's been good. It's been very, very good. They even touch on the fact, the whole She-Hulk, like your whole gripe. Yeah, they touch on it big time. I
Yeah.
was like, James has to watch this.
No, and that's the thing is I've always felt like my life has been the Truman Show, and that's why I figured streaming my life wouldn't matter, wouldn't affect anything. It's already happening.
Huh? Where did that come from?
So I have gripes, I have thoughts, I have feelings, I have sayings. Like things we've done in the past has come to the future, and I'm like, how the fuck did you even hear about any of that? Verbatim words and titles of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's happened in the privacy of my own home. We've been talking about stuff, and then a week later, there it is on TV. I'm like, dude, this is dumb. I should start copywriting everything I say.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I don't know what it was, but we had come up with something in SDCW, and within a
The
week, we
Swanton
saw it.
Bomb.
It wasn't the Swanton Bomb. Jeff
That's
Hardy was
what-
doing
yeah.
that beforehand.
He
Jeff
was
Hardy was
calling it
doing
the
that before.
Syntom. No. He was calling it the Synton Bomb. Trevor did it and called it the Swanton Bomb. Within a month, the WWF or WWE started calling it the Swanton Bomb.
Well, it was something else. It wasn't that I remember. It was something else that we had come up with, and we were like, "What the fuck? That was our idea." Reality is, great minds think alike. Someone else is going to have the opportunity to use the idea in a way that makes them money. We weren't.
By
We
stealing
didn't.
it from somebody else.
But how could you say steal? Because when we came up with that shit, we weren't even fucking on like YouTube and all this shit didn't even exist. Oh my god, dude! Imagine if
My
YouTube
life
and
is a
Twitch-
Truman Show, bro. I'm telling you.
No, for real. Think about this. If we had Twitch and YouTube available when we were doing SDCW back in the day and WWC, imagine how much different our lives could be right now.
Oh yeah.
Because we could have been putting our product out there and getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that kept us from pursuing it on a very serious level, is that no one was getting paid. I wasn't making any money. It was fucking, yeah, if we had been making money
Pure
from
enjoyment. Pure enjoyment.
I did enjoy every time we
Yeah.
got together, man. Every time we got together and had a show, it was always fun. We weren't doing what some of the people some people who were doing backyard wrestling were doing back then. Like, we weren't wrestling with barbed wire. We weren't using fucking glass and thumbtacks and all that shit. We'd goof around and say we're gonna do it, but no one was like, "Yeah, nah, dude, I gotta go to work tomorrow. Fuck you."
Yeah. I mean, I
Although
distinctly,
Beef and
I distinctly remember getting hit across the face with a chair and having it buckle on the top of my head. Dave, same thing. I remember we caved one in over your back. I remember Beeve jumping off the roof and landing on a tree stump. I remember getting slammed from 6 feet off the ground onto not plywood, onto pallets of wood, and I swear to God, I broke one. Like, I remember some real painful shit happening.
I think my headset just died.
Yeah, well, it serves you right,
No, it
sir.
didn't. Shut up. Hey, man, look, reality. My girlfriend calls. I didn't know if it was an emergency or not. I picked up the fucking phone. I would do it again, even if it wasn't an emergency or anything kind of serious. Like, this was kind of serious because, and I'll tell you off stream, to her it was very important, and she came to me for advice because she knows I'm gonna see it through a much more different perspective than she does. Others will probably side with her. I'm gonna tell her the facts. I'm gonna tell her, look, just like I told her, this is not something you need to worry about right fucking now. This is something you need to worry about when it's time to worry about it. You're at work. I'm streaming. I'm on my day off. Stop worrying about this right this second. We can talk about it later when you get home. But I'm worried about it. I'm like, baby, go back to work. Stop worrying. No. That's Kim in a nutshell right there. But getting back to other things, I definitely want to have a good solid format for the show going forward so that the venting and the bitching stops, because I've done it enough. It's even worse than on me. Yes, it's therapeutic, but yeah, I want to have fun when we do these shows. And so next week, I'm telling you to go watch fucking She-Hulk so we can talk about it, because I want to do a recap of everything up to this coming week. So watch it. Tell me what you think. I will finish watching Game of Thrones this week's episode, and I will watch, of course, this Sunday's episode, and we'll talk about it in detail. Because I will admit, as much as I'm about the episode I'm seeing, I haven't seen the whole episode. So I don't know what twist is coming, because your facial expressions as I've been talking about it are kind of like, if only you do.
I do.
So I want to see what's coming. I wish I'd been able to watch the whole episode. We will definitely talk about it and this week's episode next week. I will say this: I'm looking forward to a bunch of shows coming back that have been on,
hiatus.
Yeah, NCIS is supposedly, like, I've watched NCIS since the first season. I love that show.
Me too.
I hope some of the rumors I've been hearing are true. Nothing is being confirmed until the actual show comes out. I think it's later this month is when the series comes back. Looking forward to Grey's Anatomy. Kim got me hooked on that fucking show, dude. I never watched it. In all my years, I've never watched that show. Move in with Kim, I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. I'm watching fucking Station 19. I'm watching all of the fucking Chicago. Like, she's got me watching all this shit, and I'm like, well, fuck, now I want to watch more. Why'd they stop making shows? So, 911, I've watched 911 and 911 Lone Star. I like Lone Star better. Still haven't seen the first season of that. I need to go back and watch it. My introduction to that show was them telling the story of what happened in Texas back in 2021. So last year, January of last year, when Texas froze over. And then it kind of froze over again this year, which is hilarious to me. Not as bad. I think they were a little more prepared for it this year than they were last year. But yeah. I still can't believe that Texas got froze over. That still shocks my mind. But that's definitely, I think we should start doing that more, is talking about stuff going on in movies and stuff. I'm looking forward to Black Panther coming out this November. Oh, that's another funny thing. Too. So real quick, this is hilarious to me. We have costumes going up in our seasonal section at Target for that movie. Movie doesn't even come out till November, yet we have costumes for it coming out for Halloween.
Yeah, that tracks. On a personal note, just so you're aware, the 14th, which is next week, obviously I'm going to be free to do the podcast. The 21st, I'm going to be in Mexico. However, we can do the podcast with me beachfront as long as the place has got Wi-Fi that I have access to. I won't be able to stream it, which means it's all going to be on your side, and I won't be able to record it. But I will be able to be a part of it. I'll just hold my phone or set it down on a pool table or bench or something, talk. Or if I'm on the beach, I'll hold it and you guys can watch the ocean behind me. But yeah, I'm gonna be in Cancun, having a good old time on vacation.
Well, you know what? We'll talk about that more next week for sure. But I would rather you enjoy your vacation, dude. I'd rather you go have fun, and when you come back, we'll talk all about it. I'd rather do that than you take time out of your vacation to do the podcast. Now, if you really want to do the podcast, that's fine. But that is completely up to you. I'm fine with taking a week because I don't even know what my schedule is going to be for that week just yet. So I might not even be free to do it anyways. We'll find out. But if things stay the way they are now, I should be off. But yeah, now if you want to take a week, go have fun. We'll talk about it when you come back. Hey, that's more time for me to stream play video games, dude. I don't have a whole lot of time to do that right now. So I'm like,
Word.
you know.
Word. I respect that. I respect that.
But we'll see. We'll talk about it. But that is gonna do it for us, you guys. I have to dart out of here and go put dinner in the crock pot real fast. But again, I'm gonna try really hard in going forward from this episode to stop venting and bitching so much about things. I like my job. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying Game of Thrones, the new show. I know I act like I don't, but I really am enjoying it. I'm kind of intentionally being an ass about it because it's like, didn't expect to like it this much. All right, so shut up, all you fuckers, including you, James. All right, but for real, we are going to start talking more about fun stuff going forward. We have to because that's what this show is about. It's supposed to be fun for everybody, for us, for you guys, and that's what we're going to deliver. Starting with our next episode, we are going to get back to just having fun and talking about goofy stuff, talking about TV, movies, all that. So thank you guys for joining us. We will catch you guys next week for more. Until next time, adios.